And welcome back to this week's episode of the Broken Kid Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about pretty much just one thing and one thing only. And we're going to be talking about living in terrible neighborhoods and my experience in living in shitty neighborhoods, scummy neighborhoods at that. I'd rather live in a rat infested with rats because they're going to be more trustworthy. And those are creatures that go around stealing the food of other people. But anyhow, that being said, I live in a neighborhood where it doesn't matter. I call it little Compton, because right across from me are these neighbors that have it filthy. And now the neighbor next door, I hope her kids watch this video. I hope she watches this video so she can clean up her fucking act, because this shit's ridiculous. They got chairs out there like it's a goddamn party. Like it's a Ticketmaster concert. Last time I checked, you don't have enough people in your house to have 12 chairs out there, and then you have 12 chairs over there, and then this is the same lady who, when she got with her husband, and after years of it not working out, her husband was all like, "You gotta do this, you gotta do that," because she was listening to her sister, who lives right over a few spots. He was taking advice from her. I don't know why people take marital advice from people who don't know what the hell they're doing, but for some reason they think it's a great game. You have a better chance of gambling all your life savings in a game of blackjack or flapjack or whatever the hell it's called. And he took his sister's advice, who was still is in a terrible marriage, and it's safe to say this motherfucker ain't in a marriage anymore. Of course not, because why would he be? A sack of crap. Not that she deserved any better. She doesn't deserve any better. None of these deserve any better. And these poor kids, they're brought into a crappy family. And do you see this doll right here? The Chucky doll. This Chucky doll. Do you see him? He's over here looking at me like he wants to eat me from behind. And you know what I'm saying. But anyhow, I'm coming on this podcast angrier than normal, because I was just thinking about how not too long ago, probably like a month ago, I almost got robbed. And I thought about it like a few days later, and I've been thinking about it occasionally on and off up until now, about how I came to this realization a day later. But no, you can't do anything in this neighborhood, because you can have a crappy car and you'll still get robbed. I drive a tin can on wheels. It's a reliable tin can on wheels. It's a Honda Civic, but nonetheless, it's a tin can on wheels. And I'm driving this, and God Lord, I'm at the car wash. I'm about to get robbed by Pablo Escobar, by one of Pablo Escobar's knockoff henchmen, and I'm cleaning my car at the car wash. This guy pulls up in his bike like I'm in a Stephen King movie, like he's a Stephen King bully. He pulls up and he does that thing with the tire where he's like, and he like leaves like a little trail of dirt or whatever it is, and he's like, "Hey, I lock eyes with him." I'm like, "What?" I wasn't even aggressive. I was more like an annoyed teacher for like a middle school. I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What?" And he's like, No. I was just asking for a quarter. No. I was just asking for a quarter. And I stand there like this. Okay. He's like, okay. Have a good day, sir. I was like, what the fuck? What? Keep in mind, I was cleaning my car at night, and it was still like, it was the end of summer, so it was hot at night. And it was just interesting how the fool exited himself out of my life. Thank God. I wasn't gonna do anything. But then he goes to the guy next door at the other car wash station, and he asked him for a quarter. And I think that was to clean up his act, to make it look like he really was asking for a quarter. I don't know who goes around asking for quarters in an economy like this, because the inflation is so high. You know how many quarters you gotta collect? You gotta collect like so many before you can before you can do anything. So I don't even know why he thinks he probably had like give him a quarter and he was gonna like pull me in and shake me or take my car keys. And that's the thing I don't understand about in GTA 5. It's understandable why people steal games, because it's a video game. But in real life, if you're gonna steal a car, you gotta know that shit's registered. So if they get you, they get you. But no, now here in my neighborhood, I remember probably a few months ago, there was this guy who wanted to pull up on me, who was like he lived a few houses over, and he was trying to threaten me. And oh my god, first of all, these neighbors were so horrible. Living in this is not a. There was a guy who was shot here, and because he got in a road rage incident. So then the guy who ended up getting shot, he was driving. He was a guy in a wheelchair, for crying out loud. And for some reason, he thought it would be a great idea to piss people who can walk off, to piss him off. They could pull up on him. So he thought that was a great idea for some reason. I don't know why, but he's over here getting into road rage problems, and this guy follows him. He follows him home, and this guy in the opposite truck, who would later come and kill him, he looks at where he lives and then drives off to go get his gun, comes back and shoots him several times in the head and in the torso and dies. And he dies. It was on the news, and it was horrible. The news was horrible because people who say that news lie to gain out of their own gain. I mean, maybe that's the bigger news, but local news, I don't always see that, because at least not in this case. Because in this case, we saw the segment, and it was shameless. The people who were here talking about it, like they interviewed the people who were related to this motherfucker, who was a scumbag, who couldn't, they were like, what type of father was he? He was a good one. No, he wasn't. He was a wife beater, and he was absent. He was more absent than a kid who's absent from school because he's too busy not wanting to show up, to do other things that are more worthy. And you're watching this whole thing, and you're like, what the heck? Why are they lying? They're like, he was a great father, and he had so much time to do so many great things, as long as those things weren't walking around a park and doing a marathon and sprinting and playing catch with his daughter, unless he plays catch with his daughter kind of Stephen Hawking style. And it was all lies. I don't know why they wanted to obviously just say he was a good guy, because nobody's going to say he's a terrible person. Yeah, this guy used to beat me. He was never at his daughter's recital. He was always late. He never gave us any money. He was late on his child support payments and all this stuff, and he was off busy with other ladies. No one's going to say that on the news, because then they're going to say, yeah, no, he brought it on to himself, because everybody who knew this guy in the neighborhood was like, sounds about right. Finally, it's about time. And the reason he couldn't walk was because it's Stephen Hawking wannabe. The reason he wasn't fully Stephen Hawking, he was just Stephen Hawking from the waist down. He could do that thing like that guy in the wheelchair from Family Guy, where he was like this, but he didn't have any like upper strength. So I don't know why he thought it was a great idea, but no. As a kid, I was like, people were scared of him. Some people, but no, I don't understand what the fear was. You like stick a tick in like a thick stick in his wheels, and now he can't turn. I mean, he has a gun, but you go, it's probably the one time you could afford to like go hand in hand with somebody who has a gun, or hand the gun action. But no, and then I was here, and then like this guy confronts me because we were like, he thought it was us who was like harassing him, and he pulls up on me all hard. And I'm from LA, and I know people who kill people. They have like these things, in LA. You'll see things that are not good. You hear stories that are not good. People break into cars. People break into houses. People do a lot of things. And in my mind, I subconsciously thought, this guy doesn't have a tear tattoo on his face, so this guy's a sham. He's hoping that he can scare me. And I wasn't scared of him, because he scared me in the beginning, because he pulls up to me, and I don't see him. I hear his voice, and he's like, hey, is it you? I'm like, oh, shit. I jumped a little. And I'm like, what the hell? What is this? What is this? Where is this coming from? Like the voice, not the anger, the aggression. I know it's coming from like alcohol and all those opioids that he's been taking, and cocaine. And I'm like, oh shit. I look around for a little, and I'm like, oh, this nasty little gremlin, fucking wannabe. And he scared me because he was like this short. He was like short, like this short, and I was like, oh god. I mean, if this guy could sweat cocaine, you could smell it off of his scalp. I'm pretty sure I got a hit of that rock from his sweat. He was nasty looking too. He looked like he was 50. And he comes up to me and he's like, is it you who's doing this? And I say, it's not us. We're just having and people were watching. Like his group of people were watching, and they thought he was hard. And I was standing up to him because I didn't think I was doing anything that bad. All I did was kind of like, now that I look back, I was rage baiting this guy. And I denied what he accused me of, and he didn't have anything. And I stood my ground, but I was scared because I thought this guy was gonna swing at me, and I was like, if he swings at me, and I hit him, like he might go flying to outer space, because he was really tiny. He was like a Smurf. He was like a nasty Smurf who hadn't showered in days, and had been doing a lot of like on a bender of drugs. So I was like, if I accidentally like punch him, he's gonna go flying up like a cartoon, like whee! And I got scared, because I was like, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? And what am I gonna do? Because this guy had like a bit of a limp too. So there was nothing proud of this. Like, I mean, I was proud of it because it looked pretty cool afterwards. What I said to him, he was all like, I was like, how does it feel to have gone to jail and dropped the soap? And he's all like, I didn't go to jail. And I said, oh, so that's what you didn't do. And he got all mad, implying that he did drop the soap other times, just not in jail. And then I said, you're a 50-year-old arguing with a 20-year-old. That must feel really good. He's all like, 50-year-old? What makes you think I'm 50? And I said, it must be all those wrinkles in your face from all those hard drugs, you ugly mother something. And then I said, you feel really accomplished, huh, knowing that you ruined your kid's birthday party all over this? Huh. And he walked away. And then my mom was there. She saw the whole thing, and she was like, stop. She wasn't being that dramatic, but it was good. And then my mom confronted the lady, and she's like, why the fuck is your bitch ass cunt boy, who doesn't even live here and lives over, why is he confronting my son? Did you tell him something? She's like, no, I don't. And I was like, it's very weird, because the only way they would know is if you told him something and you positioned him to go against my son. But you saw how well that went. And no, look, we're looking to move out real soon, but you got to subscribe for that to happen, because I got to get paid on that YouTube money, Shit. Because living in these neighborhoods, it's horrible. So subscribe, like, and all that stuff. And if you want to play this game, I should probably put this at the front of the video. Take a drink every time I cuss, because you're probably going to be drunk as hell. And yeah, that being said, this is the end for this week's episode of the Broken Kid Podcast. I hope you guys had a fun night, and I'll see you next week. And try not to be too serious. Try not to be salty at all. Don't try to be like these stupid ass neighbors. But that's it. Have a good time, and we'll be logging off. Take care.